This video will cover Arizona's quarantine laws, what they allow, and how they might be enforced. Note that this video was filmed on March 17th, 2020, and was up to date at that time. Also know that this video does not cover federal quarantine laws. And as always, this video is not legal advice, it's simply a topic summary. Also, I'm going to editorialize for a few moments. This video does not imply that I am personally taking a position as to the validity of the enforcement measures or quarantines related to COVID-19. And also, even though you will learn that what you're hearing about quarantine in Arizona might not be legally enforceable right now, that doesn't change the fact that if you're showing symptoms, even if it's only the flu or a common cold, don't be a jerk, stay away from others. Editorial over. Now onto the content. 3 specific pertinent laws related to quarantine authority in Arizona are found in Title 36, Public Health and Safety. This title allows public health authorities the ability to tackle infectious diseases that may threaten the public, particularly when authorized by a declaration of emergency signed by the governor. On March 11, 2020, Governor Ducey signed a declaration of emergency related to COVID-19, which would allow for legally binding quarantine orders if issued by the director of the Arizona Department of Health Services, DHS. If Dr. Christ, the director of DHS, decides to do so, under ARS Section 36-788 and 789, she can order anyone who has COVID-19 or has been exposed to COVID-19 to be isolated and quarantined. She can engage a mandatory process for up to 10 days without first going to court if a person refuses to voluntarily self-isolate or quarantine. A mandatory directive must be given by DHS directly to the person being isolated or quarantined. And if individual people can't be provided individual copies of the order must be posted in a conspicuous place in the isolation or quarantine premises. Now, there is due process available, but it's pretty limited. Under ARS Section 36-789, within 10 days of the director issuing a written quarantine directive, if she wants it to be legally enforceable, she needs to go to court and explain 6 things. 1, the identity of the person or group of persons subject to isolation or quarantine. 2, the premises subject to isolation or quarantine. 3, the date and times which isolation or quarantine commences. 4, the suspected contagious disease. 5, a statement of compliance with the conditions and principles for isolation and quarantine. And 6, a statement of the basis on which isolation or quarantine is justified. A hearing must be held on the mandatory quarantine petition within 10 days of the filing, and the court shall grant the petition for a quarantine if, by preponderance of the evidence, isolation or quarantine is shown to be reasonably necessary to protect the public health. Then the court order authorizing isolation or quarantine would issue, allowing quarantine for up to 30 days. So, if you were doing math, DHS can issue a mandatory quarantine order that takes effect immediately. Then the court hearing to review the order must take place within 10 days. What this means is, in circumstances like now, when the governor of Arizona has declared an emergency, you can be legally held for up to 20 days without any effective judicial review. But in order for the quarantine order to be legally binding, you would need to be given a specific order or have the order posted in the location where the isolation or quarantine is taking place. So right now, the general public is not under a legally binding quarantine or isolation order. Additionally, Title 36 has another provision that relates to infectious diseases. Section 36-630 makes it illegal to knowingly hide from health authorities if you know you have a contagious or infectious disease. Although, if you simply have minor symptoms of COVID-19, health authorities actually want you to stay at home and don't advise going to the ER or to a doctor's office, as self-isolation would help prevent further spread. So there you have it. Arizona's governor has declared an emergency related to COVID-19. And if you decide not to voluntarily self-quarantine yourself if you test positive, the director of the Department of Health Services can issue an enforceable directive to make you stay in quarantine. I hope you found this video interesting. I'm Steve Cerbalic. Thanks for watching and stay safe out there. If you're interested in watching another relevant video, click up here. And if you'd like to subscribe to this channel, click down here. And for notifications, don't forget to hit the bell button so that you're made aware of when new videos are uploaded. Videos are posted every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Arizona time.